You know what makes me happy about Berserk is that all these years later, the Bakiraka bodybuilders are still kicking some ass. All right, Berserk Chapter 379. Happy early Valentine's Day to us all. We got some more Berserk, and there's actually some more on the way. 2 weeks from now, we will get one more chapter. So we don't actually have to wait too long. And to be honest, there wasn't much of a wait between this one. The last chapter came out in November, and for Berserk standards, a 3-month gap and then getting another chapter 2 weeks from now, that's actually us doing pretty good. But anyways, let's get into it. First of all, there's this awesome cover page, and what I like about this cover page and as well about this chapter is that this chapter is all about the supporting cast, and I think there is a culmination of a lot of character arcs that are coming through in this chapter, and I'll explain what I mean as we go through it. We of course have our ginger hero Isidro here, and you know, I've said some bad things about Isidro in the past, but he's the only representation I got, so you know what? Good for him. We got Serpico here too, and Azan, as well as Puck doing his little Puck Spark, and an image of Farnese behind them guiding the way. Now, I think I'll get my disappointments out of the way first before we really dig into the chapter. There are two things that I was hoping for in this chapter that we do not get. In the last chapter, Daibo was sensing the fact that this swell of evil and the rising of all of these creatures had to have been coming from something beyond the power of an apostle, as well as Farnese sensing that these were creatures from Clipoth that we've seen before and specifically seen be manifested by Slan. So there was a lot of speculation as if maybe we were going to get a god hand in this chapter, more particularly Slan, but sadly we do not see any of her evil titties here, at least not yet. And the other thing was that Rakshas didn't really seem to know why he was here. He seemed to appear in the middle of this Kushan Empire and just kind of immediately get into a fight because the first person he saw was Silat, the person he fought the last time he was conscious. So there was speculations about did something or someone bring him back, or perhaps his memory just is foggy every time he reforms himself out of shadow. I'm really not sure, but neither of those questions were answered, so that was the biggest bummer for me in this chapter. However, there are so many great things happening here that I can let that slide for a bit because I'm sure we'll get those answers eventually. The first thing that I love here, like I said, is the use of the supporting cast. So we have our characters that are a little bit scattered around the Kushan village here as it's being attacked by all these monsters and these different variations of trolls. Even Isidro points out that the trolls look very different. I have a headcanon theory that this is just sort of the Kushan interpretation of a troll, so they manifest a little bit differently, but that's neither confirmed or denied either. But there's a scene where Isidro gets into the alleyway and he's a little bit trapped, and he's assisted by none other than the mysterious mustache knight, who nobody knows his true identity. No, let's talk about this, because how long has it been since Azan has done anything in this manga? He's pretty much just sat in the background in a pit of shame for the past like 17 years. I don't know, I'm just exaggerating. But he's here and he's using his staff again, and you know what? It's a callback to our first introduction to Azan, because he talks about being in the alleyway and kind of funneling all of his enemies to fight them one by one, and that's pretty much what his legend was of defeating all those enemies on the bridge way back when. That's what Azan is known for, so the fact that he would sort of end up in a similar scenario to what made him a legend, making him come out of his shell again, I don't know, I like that touch. And I also feel like there's a lot of culmination to particular character arcs here. And Azan has been treated as like a comic relief, funny side character, but the whole reason he's putting on this armor is because he feels shame for not being able to protect all of the people at the Conviction Tower and everything that happened there. So the fact that he's here defending all of these people and, you know, being noble once again and doing the right thing, this is actually, you know, as silly as this moment is, this is actually a really good moment for his character. And this is what makes me think, too, that we're leading towards the real finale of Berserk. Like, I think we'll go from this battle that's happening here in the Kushan village, and then the real finale will probably be in Falconia. But I think we're getting the climax of a lot of these characters, because Silat has always been a character that has sort of been in the background as well. Like, he's always been one-upped by other characters. Every time he's in a fight, he's fighting somebody stronger than he is, doesn't really end up winning. He usually becomes an observer to most things rather than being front and center. But here, not only is he front and center, he's keeping pace, fighting an apostle one-on-one, and he's also using Daiba to send his thoughts, his telepathy, to everyone that's left in the Kushan Empire to inspire them to fight back. So this guy that's always been pushed to the background, that's just been this observer the entire time, is now really stepping up to be the true leader, or the true source of inspiration for everybody else around him. And this is a massive deal because Silat was never that guy. He was never the person you would expect would be that guy. But because of his journey, because of everything that he's learned and acquired along the way, the experiences that he's been through, he's able to reach up to this position. He's got his sorcerer on his side. He's got his Bakiraka bodybuilders. Like, this guy has earned this spot, has earned this position. And in the eyes of the Kushan, he's becoming a hero, and that is great. As well as Farnese here. So Farnese is being a badass as well, utilizing magic completely on her own without the help of Shirake, which is exactly what was needed. Shirake is still in her coma, trapped in the astral realm. We don't really know what's going on with her, but I think the point being that Farnese was always the pupil. She was always the student, and now she's responsible for the most important duty here of conjuring the elemental kings and putting up the shield wall, the same way that Shirake did when they were fighting the trolls way back when. Now it's Farnese and only Farnese that is being able to do it without the help of anybody else. So again, it's sort of a climax, it's sort of a culmination of her entire character arc being represented here, that she is able to do this completely on her own, without fear and without guidance. And also, it's interesting because we started her character arc with her being the leader of a bunch of soldiers, and obviously ill-equipped to be so. She was way in over her head. She was only put there by committee. Like, she did not deserve to be the leader of the Holy Iron Chain Knights. And here, people are, similar to Silat, looking up to her as one of the leaders. She's officially earned that title. So the majority of the chapter is action sequences. You know, we got the Kushans rising up and fighting against the trolls. We got Serpico here in the action. We got Silat versus Rakshas, and he's doing a great job. He knows exactly the weak point to go to with Rakshas's mask, and Rakshas actually goes to run from the scenario. Now, I don't think Rakshas would be destroyed by Farnese's light shield or anything, because an apostle is different than just an astral creature, but he definitely doesn't want to be around the light. If his power comes from shadow, if that's what we're assuming here, that he needs the darkness. And so he's searching for the darkness, and he senses the brand. It's probably been quite a while since they were able to put the charm over the brand to subdue it, and he senses Guts' brand immediately and starts to head towards him. So our chapter ends on a cliffhanger of Rakshas coming down into the dungeon where Guts is still chained up, and he's not going to be able to do much. His one working arm is chained to the wall. He doesn't have any weapons, and he's still probably super exhausted, both mentally and physically. And I guess all of my hopes and pipe dreams of maybe Chich showing up in the cell to mirror the history of Guts has now fallen into pieces because it's Rakshas instead. Now, I think Silat will be following him down here, so we might get a reunion between Silat and Guts once again. I also thought that Rickert was heading towards Guts a few chapters ago, so it actually might be interesting to see the people that fought Rakshas before together with Silat and Rickert, but now with Guts. And if they were able to free Guts and have all three of them fight Rakshas, Silat was already doing a pretty good job. If it came to that, I'm pretty sure Rakshas is done for. But then again, you know, I don't want to count him out just yet. As for the appearance of a god hand, well, I guess we're still in the dark about that one. I don't know if that's going to happen. We don't even know if Griffith or any of those characters are going to be here. There was a panel way back when where Griffith said he was heading to the east, but we haven't seen any of those characters, so still don't really know about that. But what I did like about this one is the utilization of the side characters. I like seeing Silat take that leadership role, and Farnese being able to do as much as she is completely by herself, and even the moment with Azan was a pleasant surprise. As for the next chapter, I guess we're going to get Rakshas and Guts interacting, and I don't think they ever have, so that'll be interesting. And I'm hoping to actually get the answers that I wanted for this chapter. Why is Rakshas here? Maybe it's just his regenerative process, and where is this darkness, this clip-off power coming from? I'd like to see that as well. And of course, you know, it would be really nice to cut back to Falconia and see what the hell Casca is up to, but I won't hold my breath for everything. Now, some people were mentioning an announcement coming with this Berserk chapter. All I really got is the fact that we're going to get another chapter in 2 weeks. That volume 43 is coming out in Japan in August, and they made a Zod statue bust, which is cool. I mean, I like Zod, but I tell people, don't get too excited when they say they're going to make these announcements, because the announcements are never what you want it to be. It's never going to be, hey, here's consistent chapters, or hey, here's a new anime. It's usually, hey, here's a statue of Zod. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this chapter down below. Leave all your thoughts, theories, and opinions. Also, real quick, before you leave the video, I'd appreciate if you gave it a like and a comment, and maybe consider joining the Patreon or channel memberships. Even a little bit of support, $1 a month, goes a long way. The channel is not doing too great right now, so anything you could possibly contribute would mean a lot to me. Also, if you only come here for the Berserk videos, I make content on a lot of different things when it comes to anime, manga, television, movies, particularly horror films. Like, I do so many things on the channel. Go ahead and check out some of the other videos. You might find something that you like. But other than that, guys, I really do appreciate your continued support, and I will see you guys in the next Berserk chapter in just 2 weeks. Take care, everyone.